You know the general commercials for general insurance?
Like
The ones
it's
that Shaq
uh,
ran?
yeah.
Yeah.
Go to
Have
the
you
general and save some time.
yeah, have you noticed how depressed the general has gotten?
No, I haven't seen those commercials anytime recently. Actually,
All right, so you know the commercials that we grew up with. It's him in the car, driving on that mountain
mm-hmm.
highway,
For
and
a
he
great
does
low
what
rate,
you
you can
do.
get online. Go to the general and save some time. Yeah.
Absolutely. But me and my lady were just watching Modern Family, and a general commercial came on, and it's been this commercial for a couple of years now, where he's just like, "Go to the general for your insurance," and I'm like, "What happened? Is the PTSD catching up with you?"
It's the times. He's getting old, man. You get old and you realize you've lived your whole life for nothing, and kind of hit the depression phase.
This was a fun, hyper, oh, look at how this fictional cartoon is experiencing life. And you're just like, yeah, man, you grow up and just everything sucks. The people you know die off.
Yeah, you know, you realize you don't have much time left on this earth, and
I will say you spend a lot of time around older people, especially north of 85. The first
mm-hmm.
thing they will always tell you is, I'm still here. Don't know why. I'm still rocking.
It's kind of sad thinking about that.
Yeah, no, my grandfather has told me, yeah, I don't want to live past 85 because past 85, you start needing a lot of help. Unless you're in phenomenal shape and you're
mm-hmm.
really lucky, you need help going to the bathroom. You need help walking up and down the stairs. You need help with any sort of dip in where you're walking. It's over. It's done.
Yeah, I mean, I did meet a man at my grad party this past weekend, and apparently he's 64. I didn't think so, but he looked like he was probably late 40s, early 50s, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah. See,
He also owns a vape shop.
I know some 80-year-olds that can go run a mile right now, which is phenomenal. Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm not making it that far. I can't run a mile right now, and I'm in my prime.
I could run maybe a quarter of a mile.
I could run a mile, but I will fall on my face dead.
I will have an asthma attack. So.
But no, my great-grandmother lived until she was 96, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And the last 10 years of her life, we used to do this thing at church because we went to a small church. My dad's friend was starting one because he got his pastor, whatever. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But we would start church off with going around and saying, "Oh, what are you thankful for?" Yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
My great-grandmother would come with us. And she'd be like, "Well, I guess I'm thankful I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
My friends are dead. Most of my family I grew up with is dead. But I'm still here. God still has me here. I don't know why." And my little kid brain was, "Well, that's because, you're setting an example for us." And yeah. But now I'm like, yeah, why didn't that bitch just die?
Jesus Christ.
Dude, she was a fighter. I got some phenomenal stories about my great grandmother. But she was put into nursing homes for the last, 5 years of her life. I'm not trying to say that someone should have shot her when she was 85, saved her the misery. But, oh my God, I hope I hope none of my family listen to the words coming out. Yeah, they should have took my great grandmother out to the back and old yeller her ass.
They just said, "You're well past your usefulness,"
You're well past, and it just goes downhill. So we'll say you caught some rabies. You asked us. But no, to tell some good stories about her, or unless you don't want me to dominate.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So my great grandmother was so you see my desk right here?
Mm-hmm.
She was about that tall.
Go ahead and stand up for reference. Stand up for reference. Tell you where the desk is on you. Because I know you're 6'2", 6'3".
Well, see, I'm just in my boxers right now, so we not about.
Never mind.
I'm 6'3". I don't wear pants in my house. All right, I got a shirt on. You're lucky. So yeah, I'm about 6'3", and she never got up. Once I hit my height, she was not up to my chest at all. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I think she may have gotten to 5'1" in her 30s, but when she died, she was like 4'10". She was small, right?
Yeah.
But two of my favorites, I'll tell you 3 stories, and they're all quick, all right?
Mm-hmm.
One, she loved pie. Like, her favorite dessert was some pie, right? I don't recall her favorite kind of pie, but you know O'Charlie's?
Mm-hmm.
O'Charlie's would do like a free pie Wednesday kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. I forget which pies they had, though.
Yeah, O'Charlie's is pretty good, too.
I hadn't been there in a minute.
It's pretty good, though.
It's all right.
My dad and my stepmom took my great-grandmother to this restaurant, and she was already in her 90s at this point. And she had her pie in front of her, and she was like struggling with her fork a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and my stepmother thought she was trying to get the pie in the to-go container. So she looked at my dad, and she was like, Adam, help her. And my dad was like, oh, yeah. My dad reached and grabbed her pie and picked it up, and my great-grandmother...
Yeah.
My great-grandmother went... to my dad. And my dad went, I'm sorry. And she just ate her pie.
No, I had a granny at my grad party, and we have fruit tea there, right? Super sweet, very probably unhealthy. And my mom, one of the grannies was like looking at it. She was eyeing it down. And my mom was like, did you want some tea? I'll pour you a cup. She said, I don't want no cup. I want the jug. He's like, well, do you or do you not have diabetes? And she was like, my doctor said yes and no. My mom was like, no then.
My doctor said yes and no. That's a phenomenal question.
And she was just like, girl, I drink what I want to drink. And I was just like, you go, granny.
You go, granny. Oh, fucking the other two. So, and this is actually this is the one I told at her funeral when it was my time to talk. So she was in a nursing home, and it was like the last year of her life. And we went to the home for her birthday.
Yeah.
And she was in a bad state. Her memory was getting worse, and she could barely move. So my grandmother wheeled her up to me, and she was like, hey, Mama, the Hunt boys are here. And I saw her, like, trying to look up at me. Because I'm, towering over her. And she couldn't move. And just in the faintest voice, I heard her say, get on your knee, boy. And I was like, yes, ma'am. It's like, my God. Yo, I've never heard her get that feisty before in my life. She was pissed. She was so frustrated.
If that's not the biggest yes, ma'am, I would have slapped you for that. If you didn't say yes, ma'am, for that one.
Yes, ma'am. On one knee. And then the last one, she was in the last month of her life, my grandparents asked her to be put in a hospital bed in her room at their house. Mm-hmm. And she was pretty much bedridden the entire time. But I think it was my grandmother's best friend or my grandfather's sister that was up there with her. Mm-hmm. And she was asleep most of the time. But she kind of she opened her eyes a little bit and made a sound. And the lady with her was like, oh, hey, her name was Eloise. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, Eloise. Rob made some cookies. Would you like a cookie? And she was like, of course I want a cookie. It's like, you are dying, dude.
She's fighting for it, man.
Man, she had a real sweet tooth. She wasn't about to refuse no goddamn cookie. I wouldn't either.
No, I have a history of being the favorite in my family because I was like the first great grandchild, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And I learned recently that I was like the only grandchild they didn't beat. And I was on the phone with my mom one day, and she was like, yeah, your Aunt Doris, she never hit you. And I was like, because I'm just good like that, I'm good. And she was like, now I'm mad. Let's call her right now and see why.
My lady had an Aunt Maddie that I met, And before, so we drove up there, and I forgot why we drove up there, but we drove up there and we were seeing her, and she is her grandmother's sister.
Yeah.
So we went up there, and the entire time my lady was like, yo, she's mean. She is mean. So we're going to accept it. We're just going to go. I was like, all right. Mm-hmm. Sat down, saw that she had Tennessee stuff up. Or University of Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I started talking Tennessee Vols, and she was like laughing with me, and she was talking with me. And my lady, I saw her in the kitchen going, what? And then she went Roll Tide because her family's from Alabama.
Yeah.
So her Aunt Maddie got up, rolled up a newspaper, and started beating her with it. And chasing her around the house. And she looked at me and said, see, I told you she was mean. She was mean.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here's one. My Nana, she's got like a bunch of health issues and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And at one point, I think it was 2010, it got so bad that she had to go into a coma. And she was in a coma for a hot minute. Apparently, while she was in a coma, I was the only person she recognized. She's got two daughters and a son.
Yeah.
I was the only one she recognized. And I was just like, yeah, I'm just good like that. I'm the favorite. And to this day, she keeps trying to claim that she has no favorites, but I'm still around, so.
Bitch, you only remembered one person, and it was me.
It was me.
It was me.
Still rubbing my mom's face.
I don't know. I'm turning this into like an anime kind of thing where you grab your mom and it focuses on your face. You're like, she remembered one face. It was me. It was me the whole time.
It was me the whole time.
I can't not do that and not think of the Reverse Flash. You remember, Barry, when you came in your pants when she kissed you? It was me, Barry. I jerked you off at super speed. It was me. No, I
jerked you off at super speed.
It was me. Dude, have you seen the trailer for Ungentlemanly Warfare, that new Henry Cavill movie?
No.
Oh my, it looks so good. I just watched a scene from it where the caption of it was, this is what bromance really is. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy looks up and I forget, like I can't name all the actors, but one of the actors is the guy who plays Jack Reacher. If you ever watched the Reacher series?
Yeah, I have.
He looks at him and he says, this guy's a real heart stealer. The guy was like, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Mm-hmm. And the other guy looks at him and says, if that's how you fight, I don't want to know how you love. And he looks him in the eyes and says, oh, you don't have to worry about that. You're too pretty for me. But Freddie,
oh, gosh.
And he looks at this other guy and Freddie's looking at him. And Freddie just says, you'll have to catch me first. The guy goes, I like a good hunt. And he says, you'll be so lucky. And then he looks him down the face and says, I'm actually getting kind of hard right now. And their leader was like, all right. I watched that scene. I was like, I have to watch this movie now.
Yeah, I think I kind of want to watch it.
The guy who plays Reacher is actually...
Oh, it's already out.
Yeah. It came out like a week ago, I want to say.
Last month, almost to the day.
There you go. I really want to see it. But that guy, I think his name's Alan Richardson, something like that. He apparently is one of the favorites to be the next Batman in the James Gunn DC.
Oh, Alan Richardson. Okay.
Yeah. He's got the size, and he's a phenomenal actor.
He is a big dude.
He's a big dude.
Hey, if he gets to be Batman, then we'll have Batman and Superman in the movie.
Yeah, I heard. Did you see they released what the super suit is going to look like? Superman suit?
Superman? No.
Yeah, they just released I want to say set pictures. I'm not entirely sure what the technical name of it is for, but it's the Superman suit that is going to be in the new Superman movie.
James Gunn's first Superman image looks like AI and the suit doesn't fit.
It does kind of look like AI. I'll give it to it.
Yeah, it does.
But I think it looks fine. Like, it's okay. I prefer the Man of Steel suit. I know a lot
The
of
Man
people,
of Steel suit was pretty good. I like
I know
that
a
one.
lot of people don't like the Man of Steel suit, but I really like the Man of Steel suit.
It does kind of look AI-ish. I'll give it that.
It does. The whole image looks AI.
Yeah.
I haven't been keeping up with the Superman stuff, like the Superman news.
Well, I haven't really because I'm more of a Marvel guy, so
Well, I
the
know
DC stuff kind of just comes in as it comes in, I guess.
the only thing I was keeping up with is I've been waiting on season 2 of Peacemaker. I've been waiting 3 years for it now.
Just say, has that even been announced?
So season 1 ended, and they were supposed to they got green light for a season 2, but then James Gunn was doing Guardians 3, and then the guys over at Warner Bros. Wanted him to create the new DC universe, so Peacemaker got pushed back, and now it's on the complete afterthought of like, yeah, we might go back.
Are they like trying to reboot the DC universe or something?
Yeah. So
Didn't know that.
you know the whole test with DC, and I know this has been said 10 million times, but it's what happened. They saw the success of Marvel's Avengers, and they were like, okay, let's do that, but in like 3 years. And it didn't work. And plus Zack Snyder.
Justice League movie that was absolutely ass.
Justice League, Batman vs. Superman. I didn't see the Flash movie. If you paid to watch the Flash movie after all the shit you heard about Ezra Miller, I really don't like you.
See, that's where I separate the art from the artist, but also I didn't
can't.
see the movie, so
See, that's a whole topic we could get. I really can't do that. There's sometimes
Michael Jackson is like, as a classic example, is one of my like top artists of all time. But then after he died, at least from how I learned it, after he died, it starts coming out about the was it Dreamland or something?
Neverland.
Yeah. That all that stuff started coming out. That's when that's my order of events. So I just tend to separate the art from the artist because it's like I like the music. I mean, dude may have been really shitty, but music was fine.
See, I can't because I can't because that's me showing support. Like no
I see
way.
that.
Especially like I know like I'm not a public figure. It'd be even worse if I was a public figure. But even now, I'm not perfect either. You know, a lot of stuff is being said about Drake right now. But I will hear that and then I'll be driving in the car and just hold on, we're going home. Going home. It's hard.
That song has been played too much for me to like it anymore.
It's catchy though, right? That, and I told you last week, it's still stuck in my head, and I haven't listened to it in a decade. And it just popped out of my head. All I care about is money in the city that I'm from.
Yeah.
That, and dude, Marvin's Room is such a good song. It's such a good song.
See, I don't. That was from a time when I didn't pay attention to song names, so I don't
Cups
even.
of the rose, bitches in my old phone.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would come and go home. I've been in this club too long.
I remember that song. Yep.
Every time the N-word gets said in that song, I just my lady laughs at me because I'll sing the entire song up until that point, and then I'll go and go back to singing it. And she'll be like, "What?" I'll mess with her too because she'll sing a song and then she'll say like the N and stop, and I'll go. And she'll be like, "I didn't say it. I didn't say it."
I could totally imagine her doing that though.
I saw a video today. Anthony Mackie and Elizabeth Olsen.
You
know, Scarlet Witch and Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
They were on this red carpet and they were like laughing, having a good time. And Elizabeth Olsen looked like off camera and she was like, "Yeah, I was going to wave to you, but it's black." And she pointed at something.
Oh,
and
I remember that.
Anthony Mackie went, "What'd you say about me?" And she went,
Yeah, I remember that one.
and he just started laughing so hard.
That's what I plan to do if I ever get into a situation like that. I'm always going to turn it into a race joke. It's got to happen.
Oh, yeah, no. If I had the skin tone of you, I don't know how many times I would say, "Is it because I'm black?"
If I had the skin tone of you.
If I had the melanin you have,
If I had the ability to not sunburn, life would be over.
All right, I said melanin and I thought of watermelon. Okay, it's not because you're black. It's just the sound. It's just the words sound similar. Okay, let's not turn this into.
I made that joke. I made that joke to my boss the other day.
What?
We were talking about like skin tones or something because he was like, "You sunburned?" It was like, "No, I got a nice tan." And I was like, "Yeah, I never burn." I just inserted myself into the conversation. They were like, "I didn't mean it like that." I was like, "I'm the one that said it. What do you mean?"
And then you got followed up with, "That's because God already burnt me." So, anyways, no. So in football practice, if it was like a really hot day, we'd come off the field and coach would have like watermelon, right?
Yeah.
Well, I saw a New Orleans Saint video where Mark Ingram was eating watermelon and he had like 3 in his hand. And he looked at the camera and he took a bite and he was like, "The Lord is my shepherd and I shall not want." And he ate it again. And then someone stitched it with the Uncle Ruckus theme song from Boondocks and said, "Like a moth to a flame."
Yeah, unironically, I have watermelon in my fridge right now.
Dude, I love watermelon.
It's fantastic, actually.
My
water.
No, I had to swallow the joke. My brother hates normal watermelon, but loves artificial watermelon.
I'm sorry, is there a difference?
Yes.
I mean, I know there is, but like, what difference are we talking about? Are we talking like seedless versus seeded?
No,
watermelons?
like watermelon Kool-Aid. He likes the
watermelon
artificial
flavoring?
flavor. Yes. He loves that, but he hates actual watermelon.
I'm kind of the opposite, actually.
Yes, I hate artificial watermelon.
Yeah, it's just like it. For one, I don't really taste watermelon.
No, it doesn't taste like watermelon in the slightest.
Like, I can taste it and be like, "Oh, that's watermelon flavoring," because I know what that flavoring tastes like. Whereas actual watermelon does not taste like that.
No. By the way, I hate, and this is a kind of an awkward segue, but this is what my brain went to. When people say like watermelon just tastes like water, it's like, no, it tastes like watermelon. Water doesn't have a taste. It tastes like water.
Yeah, and to say water doesn't have a taste.
I hate when people say it doesn't have it tastes like water. You know?
I mean, I see where you're coming from, but for me, anybody knows, but like distilled versus purified water, right? Mm-hmm. Distilled water, has an aftertaste.
Yeah.
I kind of associate water in and of itself to not really have a taste. Because I mean, I don't recognize that I taste anything when I drink water, which is, what I have right now. I don't recognize that I really taste anything. It's just refreshing, I guess.
Yeah, but it's like, you could say that really about anything. What does chicken taste like? Tastes like chicken. Well, what does chicken taste like? It tastes like chicken. It's just a circular definition.
I mean, yeah, but there's also frog legs that taste like chicken.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's really fair.
Yeah.
I guess, like, I was about to say poultry, but a frog is not poultry. I'm just a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
Have you ever been asked the question, and this is where I was going to lead the conversation. Have you ever been asked the question, what does, taste like?
Yeah.
Yeah? What was your answer?
My answer? Mm-hmm. A little bit of iron.
Oh, you do the period?
No.
The way you looked at me, that's the funniest shit I've ever seen. You're like, my fight, I chose this guy as my co-host.
I was just going to let you have your moment there,
You've never gone down when she was on her period?
I haven't gone down, but also I didn't know until afterwards.
Hell yeah.
I just kind of
should not be my response.
I just kind of like finished up and then, went to wash my hands. They were a little wet, and they were red, and I was like, oh.
So.
Yeah.
Did you start? No. No, I've always... My lady has been obsessed with how it tastes because she's been, like, insecure about it, right? Because have you eaten some that ain't washed?
No.
Sewage, dog. Sewage. I should stop hiding my mouth. I don't think that looks good, but oh well, I should because I'm a little bit ashamed right now. Dude, sewage. It's so nasty. But I think I told my lady that story, so she got a little insecure. So she always asked. She hasn't done it in a while, but she always asked, "What does it taste like?" I'm like, "It tastes like vagina." She's. Man, out of every conversation she could have walked in on. Really? Oh my god, dude. That's so
Out of
funny.
literally any conversation she could have walked in on.
We've talked about this for what, 2 minutes? 3 minutes? And she decides to walk in now? That's my luck, dog.
I'm about to cry. Oh, that's hilarious, man.
Oh, I hate it.
Oh, I love it. That was fantastic. Perfect timing on her part, I guess.
But no, to finish this conversation, just the door slightly opens. No, you know that I like to make her uncomfortable sometimes. So I'll be like, can I? Because I enjoy eating. If you're a man and you don't enjoy eating, you're a bitch, right?
Facts.
You want someone to go down on you, you got to go down on that. That's just how it works. But she'll be like,
law of equivalent to change.
But she'll be like, no, I gotta go shower. I stink. And I'll just go, She'll be like, could you not? Could you not do that?
For anybody else listening with headphones on, I'm sorry. Because I felt that.
A lot of people stop in their tracks and be like, can you? Nope. I just made a lot of people turn off the podcast.
I just felt it in my ears. And it.
Please don't do that again. Oh, our favorite bit now, talking about my lady. I was going to actually open the podcast with, but then she kind of did it with you at your graduation party. Our favorite bit right now is to be in places and just say, I have a gun. Or make the joke.
Oh, she did do that to me, yeah.
Yeah, she slipped you a note. Just said, I have a gun.
She slid it across the table.
We were at her little sister's graduation. And last week we talked about air horns. How someone brought an air horn to my graduation. Well, someone brought an air horn to this one, and they laid on that thing, and it was loud. And I just went, and then I turned to her because I was trying to talk to her, so I got a little aggravated, and I was like, middle of the field shotgun to the back of his head, and she went, "Is that seems like a bit of an overreaction?" And I was like, really? And then that's when I started to say, like, I have a gun. She was like, shut. We were in the middle of people, so she was like, shut up. And I was like, they won't do anything. I'm white, so I have a gun. They'd do something if I was brown and had a turban on. Then they would jump me.
Oh, man.
Especially, this was in the buttfuck nowhere of Tennessee. Oh, they would have jumped me.
Oh, man. I'll ask about where after the pod so you don't dox anybody. But
it was in buttfuck nowhere. Buttfuck. It wasn't like Amish country Tennessee, but it was.
No, I live around Amish country Tennessee.
It was definitely like there was some ancestral relationships. Correct.
I'm not very confident that there aren't any over around here.
I know some people. And I have some feelings.
I know some people that were pretty ambiguous about the subject, and it's worried me.
Some people you just catch a vibe.
Yeah.
Some people you catch the vibe, hey, I can go drinking with this guy. Some people you catch the vibe of, they're probably fucking their cousin. It's a thing. It's body language.
You learn the differences in the South, yes.
But yeah, no, we've had that bit going on for a long time of she got stressed out at work and she was unloading, and I was like, you should have just stood up and said, I have a gun.
No, I think on the note that we passed back and forth, she wrote, I have a gun. I said, so do I. And she wrote points gun. And I said points 2 guns. And she wrote points 3 guns.
How can you even point 3 guns?
I
guess one in the
Good question.
I don't know how you'd pull the trigger though.
I guess. I mean, it's just pointing the gun, so.
You're just pointing a gun? There's no necessarily not pointing the trigger. You're just pointing guns.
You're pointing the gun, yeah. I mean, mine stays loaded, but not with one in the chamber, so.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a fun inside joke that could possibly get us in a lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble.
I would do it on an airplane and freak her the fuck out.
Yeah, no, my buddy, he has a little brother, right? Mm-hmm. The guy who I was trying to get on the pod, there's this thing that happens every time, like, we all hang out, somebody will ask to see my gun.
Why?
And just because they know I have one, I always unload it before anybody else touches it, but
of course.
There was like, pull out the gun. I'm just like, aight. And his little brother made a joke the other day, and it was like, when you're at a function and Z pulls out the piece, and apparently it was random and very funny at the time.
No, see, I used to just go up to you. You got to keep that motherfucking thing. Got to keep that motherfucking thing on you. Or you pulled up to my 4th of July party, and you had it in your car.
I did.
You're like, I just got to keep that thing on me.
Pretty sure. Oh, I pulled it out when talking to your roommate at the time. Because we started talking about guns.
I was about to say, he didn't threaten him with it.
No,
just for clarification. Yeah, your roommate pissed me off, so...
No, he wanted to see it because we were talking about guns. And as we were actively pulling off the splash guard on my car because I hit a raccoon like a day prior.
There was someone at her little sister's graduation with the last name Coon. And
I've met a few people with like that.
It got called up and my lady looked at me like, that's unfortunate.
There's a road out here. It's called Coon Hunt Road. And when I first hit that road, I was like, ain't no way. Because the house I was delivering to was on that road. And I looked at it and was like, couldn't be.
So that's why you keep a bag of flour in that truck at all times?
No. What?
Whiteface joke.
Ah, okay.
Because
I'm not up on my racism, so I can't.
You know what they do.
I couldn't catch it too quick.
You know what they do on Coon Hunt Road. Everybody knows what they do on Coon Hunt Road.
Yeah.
I will say, when I was first learning about like civil rights, and I learned about like Emmett Till and all this shit, and then I learned that there's a town in Tennessee called Lynchburg. I was like, I know.
Dry County, by the way.
I know the history. I know it's not named that because of that, but can we do a little PR here? Can we? If
I've been meaning to actually look into the origin of the name of that town for a minute now, because I mean, Jack Daniel's Distillery, cool. I want to go, but I'm kind of scared.
You know what happens? It's either like everybody plays into the joke, or it's an actual sundown town. I mean, and
I know a guy from that town, so I could totally ask him.
Risk.
I know a guy from that town, so I could totally ask him. But I'm not as close with him as my roommate is, so it's kind of a weird topic to bring up.
Yeah. Yo, by the way, does the town?
By the way, I know you're from Lynchburg, but like, what's that about?
Or you were from Lynchburg.
What's the lore?
What is the lore? No, I'm sure it's like the founder's last name was Lynch, and everybody was naming it Berg. So whatever. But it's like, especially in Tennessee, one of like a slave state that had a problem with civil rights. I don't feel like we should have a town named Lynchburg. It's uncomfortable.
I'm looking up the origin right now because I'm actually... Okay, you were right. City's name comes after its founder, John Lynch.
Okay. I don't want to know what he did in his free time.
Yeah. Last names around that time tend to have relation to, I think, where you came from, if I'm not mistaken.
Last names?
Yeah.
Well, I know it's like, I never know the origin of last names. I know for like a lot of black people in this country, their last names come from
Yeah.
their family slave owners, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It does.
Really leaves some stank on it.
Yeah, I think it was explained by a streamer. Like I saw it like so long ago, but I believe he explained it the way as last name. His last name was like penis or something, and he was like, he was like, it's changed over the years because of people changing stuff, I guess. But he came from a town, or his family originated from a town across the seas with a last name that was similar. And then after they come over to the U.S. area, it had slowly changed up into where it is now.
I learned of a name that is so unfortunate. Have you ever heard of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat?
No.
Phenomenal professional wrestler back in the 80s. Had some great matches like Ric Flair and Macho Man.
Mm-hmm.
But his name is Richard Blood. Richard Blood. And
that's unfortunate.
And he went by Dick when he was a kid. So he went by Dick Blood as a kid.
You've seen the video? I think the dude's name was Dick Tips.
Did he give some good tips?
He's like a funeral director or something, I think.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
If I'm going to a funeral home for one of my family members and the director shakes my hand and says, "Hey, I'm Dick Tips," I'll be like, "No, you're not." And we'll get my family member out of here. I don't trust you.
No, you're not. And we refund all the money I've given you right now.
He like leading you to a room, opens a coffin, it's full of dildos. He's like, "I got you. Classic Dick Tips."
Could start a very helpful DIY YouTube channel.
That's no.
These are Dick's tips.
I don't know why. I think I told you a long time ago that I think it's very funny to act like you're in a sitcom. So I just think of him just yanking it open and everybody going, just hearing the
Just look at the camera that doesn't exist. Like,
yeah, I told you, me and my brother would do that all the time. He'd like do something stupid, and I'd be like, Austin, and he'd be like, just freeze there for
Freeze
like
frame?
10 seconds.
I think I've done that a couple times. Just like,
or he'd say something smart to me, and I'd be like, just hear the laugh track in your head. It makes you look like a psychopath. If anybody just walked into us doing that, they'd be like, the hell is going on?
Just walk in the room. It's like, did somebody say Andy's coming or something?
That would, dude, you know that restaurant that the whole gimmick is Toy Story?
No.
I think it's in Disney World.
No, I have heard of that. Yeah. And you could yell Andy's coming and everybody will drop.
Characters at Disney will drop. In this restaurant, they just freeze. Because obviously you can't drop with, plates and shit in your hands.
Yeah.
But even the customers are expected to freeze. And I think like, okay, be fun, whatever. But I hear the noise goes off like every 30 minutes.
Yeah, that'd be annoying.
So you freeze and you're like, and they play like Andy walking around in his room. And I'm like, what the hell?
No, the worst. I had a job that was similar. I worked at Texas Roadhouse when they opened up a new restaurant, right? And the Texas Roadhouse, for people that don't know, pre-COVID, I don't know if they do it now, but every once in a while they'll have line dances. And I think it was set like every 30 minutes or so, every hour or something like that. And you'd hear the music play, and you'd be like, "Oh shit, here it comes." And me, I would just disappear in the back because I wasn't trying to learn those line dances. And like every 30 minutes or so, somebody would request 1, 2, and then I'd be like, and I'd just go put in the code and set up a line dance just for the shits and giggles sometimes. They really gave us too much freedom on that. But like it would just stop everything in line dance.
My lady and I went to Camino Real for my birthday a couple of years ago. And she loves doing birthday stuff at restaurants. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why this was the thing at this Camino Real, but they gave you like a piece of pie with some whipped cream on it. Or no, it was it's like that stuff you see at some Mexican restaurants with like the fried tortilla shells.
Yeah.
That have like cinnamon sugar and chocolate on it.
True?
No. It's like the fried tortilla shells.
I mean, some places I know have done churros that way.
Well, it's not.
I attribute them to the same thing. I don't
apologize
know that well.
I apologize for explaining that poorly, but they were singing a birthday song to me in Spanish, but they also had like a whipped cream on a napkin, and they like got me in the face with it. Like they didn't smack me, but they put it in my face. I was like, started wiping it off, and I like put my hands down, and she did it again. My lady laughed and she thought I was actually getting frustrated because the second time she did it, I went, "Excuse me." And she started laughing. She was like, "You said excuse me."
Excuse me.
In that moment, like after I was like, yeah, no, I didn't get offended. But in that moment, I think in my head, I was like, what the hell are you doing?
No, I imagine you like getting pretty mad after the second time, just like, okay, now stop, bro.
I should have
like straight face, we're done.
I should have thrown a fit. I should have stood up and be like, I don't want to do it anymore. Or some shit like that.
No!
This 6'3", almost 400-pound dude standing up and going, ah!
I can imagine the whole restaurant just kind of, as soon as it happens.
I actually kind of want to do that, but I hate fucking with minimum wage workers. I kind of want to do that.
I also hate fucking with minimum wage workers, but some people could get shit on, to be honest.
On the way back from my lady's work, there is an adult daycare center. Okay?
What?
I have no idea what it entails. It could be for adults who need help with certain stuff. It could be some version of a nursing home. I've literally seen no one come in and out of that building, right? I just see adult daycare. And me and her have come up with just like leaving me there and her saying like he likes video games and Spider-Man comics and me just in the back going, I don't want to stay here. And she'll be like, don't worry, I'll be back. And she walks out the door and I'll be like, no! And I just start crying.
I'm looking it up, but I only see Adult Day Services, which is a .gov website.
I'll try to get a picture of it because I, pass it a couple times tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so funny to picture. I'm not trying to like shit on anyone if it's like really for people with disabilities or something like that. I don't want to disrespect anybody. I just think it's very funny for like a normal adult to have to be put into daycare.
Didn't we have adult daycare on the name?
Yeah.
Wow. I think I may be looking in the wrong spot, but I'm not going to dox your girl, or you for that matter. So we'll just, I'll look at that later.
Did you go to a lot of like daycare stuff growing up?
I think I went to one daycare when I was young.
When my mom was
just the one. Then I went to a preschool after that.
When my mom was a single mom, we'd have to go to daycare after school.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot remember. It's the one that is next to that big church on Sam Ridley. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
That corner where that new O'Reilly's is, or it's not new, but it's relatively new. That O'Reilly's, there's a pizza place near the Kroger.
I gotta be real, I hadn't been over in that side of town since I was getting a fingerprint service for my resident assistant job at school.
All right.
No.
But I was there for a little bit, and then there was like a lady that ran a small time daycare out of her house. Went there a couple times. Daycare is fun, you know.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, except I got bullied a lot. But you know what? We just go through
it.
We just keep it
I
pushing.
didn't really get bullied until elementary school, so.
That was fat and annoying, you know.
I was just kind of a kid as far as I can remember.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a fact. No one can take that away from you. You indeed were a kid.
Yeah.
No, daycare. Like I don't remember. I remember like big basketball. I remember big basketball.
Big basketball. I remember having like, the it's like basketball-ish to an extent, but it has like the little cup at the top and it has like several exits.
Yeah.
That's what I remember having. I hit my mic one more time.
What was that ever for?
No clue, actually. Absolutely no clue. Like, we barely ever used it, and when we did, we were just throwing rocks in there.
Have you seen where people, like, throw a 6-pound bowling ball in there? And they'll
sit
with their legs
hurts me. It hurts me every time I see that. Why
do they do these things?
Why?
It goes back to when we were talking about why do guys just have an obsession with hurting themselves? Like, I just watched this video, 2 grown-ass men, both in, like, their 40s, and they slid themselves under a cornhole board and put their nuts where the hole is.
I've seen something like that.
And started trying to make it. What are you doing?
Yep.
Why are we
I've seen,
doing this?
several videos of dudes playing soccer with bowling balls. I think I've seen one video where they did that
Is that even possible?
An ice skating rink. It's possible. It's painful, but it's possible.
Why would you do that?
No clue.
I will say, people who develop, like, toys don't help. Have you ever heard of lawn darts?
No?
So you play darts on the lawn, but they're darts, like, darts, except they're that big. And you just throw them up. That is asking for trouble. That is.
Have you seen Grown Ups?
Yeah, that's like
the arrow
scene.
Roulette. Yeah,
yeah.
That just why?
Luckily, my brothers and I were never that dumb. I mean, the dumbest thing probably did in terms of that was play wall ball with a baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my nose busted up for that. I know I told the story on the podcast. Luckily, we were never dumb enough. We shot each other with BB guns. I mean, that shit hurt.
Thunderstorm warning.
It started raining, and I hopped in the shower before we hopped on. And my lady was like, "You can't take a shower." I was like, "Why?" She said, it's thunderstorming. I was like, "What? Have you heard this?"
I've heard that, yeah. But I don't really care, so.
She said you could get struck by lightning. And I looked at her, I was like, "Where did you hear that?" And she was like, "I don't want to tell you." And I was like, "Where did you hear that?" And she was like, "I heard it from
I've heard it all my life, but I've never known anybody or heard anything online about that happening to anybody.
I looked at her and I was like, "I'm not going to get struck by lightning." And I got in there. But it's bad enough over here that the lights flickered. And the shower kind of lost a little bit of I knew the word
pressure.
Yeah, water pressure. It lost a little bit of it. So I ended up staring at the shower head and I was like, what if I do get struck by lightning?
Yeah, according to this, it is incredibly unlikely to be struck by lightning in a shower unless you're showering in the rain or in a bath outside.
I did hear a story of a cat who got struck by lightning while on the phone in his house. Have you heard this story?
No.
He was on the landline and the lightning struck the telephone pole and it traveled, through the landline, through the phone, into his head. And he died.
I mean, well, that is literally an electrical conductor, so.
Yeah, no. And it's he had to wake up, see God, and be like, "The hell?" I was like, "Hey, I wanted to have a little fun today, all right?" So
No, I've had in my apartment here, we have a fireplace that we're not allowed to use for one. But it has like a little metal cap on it, I believe, probably like a hail shield or something.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know what those are for, but it got hit by lightning sometime last year. And I remember sitting in my room, hearing something on my nightstand pop, and then just like really loud.
Mm.
And according to my roommates who were in the living room at the time, they saw a spark by the lightning or by the fireplace, and I was just like, glad none of us were touching that, I guess.
I will say one thing that it took everything for me not to beat the absolute shit out of my brother for this. We were messing with each other, and I was shirtless on the couch, and he had just made pizza rolls for lunch. And, you know, pizza rolls just out of the oven, bitches are hot. They're
Real
hot. So he picked one up, tossed it in his hand, and chucked it at me. And it hit me right in the chest. I swear to God, it hurt so fucking bad. And I popped
It just
up and
sits there, it sticks.
dude, he had stuck to me and I was like, and I held my chest and then I stood up and he took off. Like, I'm not
He knew he fucked up. He knew he fucked up. You
Oh,
know
no.
you fucked up when that shit happens.
You fucked up. God damn, that shit hurt.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
What is one of the worst childhood injuries that you had?
Worst childhood injury, I think, would be my dog scratching me. I didn't really get injured as a kid. The first like broken bone I've had was jumping off a cliff as an adult. So I don't really have many kid injuries. I guess spraining my ankle was probably a bad one. I got fucked over by my so-called teammate when I played football, which is one of the reasons I stopped playing football, because he sucked ass and I kept getting put on the same team as him because of City League.
Yeah.
And I just kind of stayed with the team that I knew all the time. But he got hit 5 yards into my ankle. And I really want to know how. Like, how did it take you...
understand.
Yeah, how did it take you a whole 5 yards to fall? Because this kid was, like, the weakest kid on the team. He was a big, like, slow kid. He had, like, asthma or something, I think, because he got hit so hard he lost his breath one day and had to, like, get out of practice. This is practice. But in the game, I remember breaking through the line, seeing the ball was on the other side of the field, so I turned to, start running that way.
Yeah.
And out the corner of my eye, I see him, like, stumbling back, and he just lands flat on my ankle. And that hurt so fucking bad.
I injured this kid in practice in football one time, and I felt so bad. It was that drill where you start like across from each other, and then you run to a cone that meets you in the middle. Like you run diagonal to the set of cones, and one's a runner and one's a tackler.
Yeah.
Now this was a bad idea because I was about 200 pounds at the time, and this kid was not even 100, maybe 100. So I hit him, and we fell, and my helmet hit his thigh.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he was like, I can't feel my leg. And I hit up and I got up and I was like, what? They pulled me off and he dislocated his hip. Or I hit him and he dislocated his hip. And my dad was like trying to comfort me because I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't. And he was like, dude, you just tackled. Like, this happens. But I don't know why they did this. I hope this is actual protocol because they got an ambulance onto the field and they were like going to take him wherever. By the way, which sucks. Get your parents to take you because that's just $50,000 for no reason.
It's a lot of money.
But they like picked him up and let his legs dangle. And he was like, it feels funny. And I was like, looking on it as a kid, I was like, huh? And my dad was like, calm down. He's okay. But looking back on it, I'm like, is that protocol?
I don't think that's protocol.
What happened?
I think the first step would be to get them on the stretcher, which they usually have like another little mini like carry stretcher that they slide you onto. Picking him up and letting his legs dangle, I don't think that's.
I just imagine them putting him up on the gurney and just like, all right, like squeezing his leg. Can you feel that? And he's like, no. And they're like, all right. Can you feel that?
No, I remember, it's not as hard as a hit as that happened, but I remember running Oklahoma's with the fastest guy on the team, and he kept dodging me, and the coach was like, just fucking hit him. So eventually we go for, I think it's like round 4 at this point, and we line up, we're on our backs, we get up, start going at each other, and we hit so hard that I'm pretty sure I got a concussion, because we just kind of met.
Yeah.
And stayed in the center and then kind of went off to the side. But I remember everybody going like, ooh, as we hit. And then the next hit, the kid got hit so hard. That same kid that had sprained my ankle got hit so hard that he was like, I can't breathe. And his mom took him to the hospital.
I love Oklahoma drills.
They were so fun.
Especially as a lineman. Because I'm inches from the other guy. I'm just going to pop him and either drive him or just chuck him out the way.
Just get to fucking his ass.
There was one time in high school, though, they put me at the linebacker spot, which I was hyped up about because I wanted to play linebacker, but I'm fat and not athletic enough to be a linebacker. But I was going against my buddy that I played football with a couple of years prior, but he was small, he was stocky, and motherfucker ran hard. So he goes to the left. I see him and I go and I meet him and I don't get low enough. So his helmet hits me right there. And I felt it and I fell to the side. I was like, I can't feel my arm. And I hit the ground and I felt it go. So I dislocated my shoulder, hit the ground and popped it back into place. So I hopped up and I was like, woo! Damn! And one of the trainers was there and she was like, you all right? And I was like, yeah, I think so.
I remember going up against my next door neighbor. We like to hang out in our front yards and throw a football back and forth, but we were both linemen. And I gotta admit, he was probably a shitty lineman. Because I'm like a 120-pound kid, and for our age at the time, it was a pretty big kid. And his team had a 200-pound kid.
Yeah.
He was shaped like a circle.
Damn.
And they were both together against me on the line. And he started talking shit. And I was just like, oh, okay. I got you then. We all jumped off the line. I don't know how. And I don't think I could ever do it again. But I jumped over the big kid and got a sack. And I was just like, yeah! Like, what now, bitch? Like, kind of shit.
I felt so sorry for this poor kid. I was in what youth league did you play for?
I just played for City League. I think my team was I think we were the Raiders or something.
So I played for the Unibears. I played for the Smyrna Bulldogs. I know there was the Old Hickory Patriots. There was the Bordeaux Eagles. Who was the
we didn't have all that. It was literally just City League.
Oh, you were just a totally separate.
Yeah.
All right. But I felt really bad for this kid. I forgot who we were playing, but I was just eating this guard alive. They put me in the middle of this line, and I got past him. The entire first half, this kid was against me. I got past him every single time. And wouldn't make the tackle because my tackling, if I was in Madden, it'd be at a 5. Right? My tackling was horrible, and I was slow. But I get past and disrupt the play. So the coach decided to put a different guard there. The problem was he only had one other guard, and he was smaller than the original guy.
Yeah.
So I got past him faster and I got past him so fast one time, and I hope this kid didn't kill himself because I got past him so fast that I forgot to let go of his jersey. So I was running after the running back, dragging this kid behind me.
Holding.
Yeah, and he was just like... I really hope that his parents get him some ice cream or something after, because if that was me, I would quit.
I would be so mad, man.
That's so disrespectful.
Like, I would have to fight you. Like, helmet's coming off. Like, I'd have to fight you. Like, there's no coming back from that.
That you take the helmet off and you chuck it at the guy and you're like, fuck you, you asshole. You didn't have to do that.
Now, I remember, I think my most embarrassing moment in football was we were in a dog pile and my helmet got interlocked with somebody else's, but I didn't know that because I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
So we're just laying there and I'm like, I can't get up. Get off me, like type shit. And eventually they thought we were injured because we were just laying there. Let's just try to get up. And the coach runs over and is like, what's wrong? And I was like, I just can't get up. Somebody's sitting on my head or something. Because I'm just face down in the grass trying to get up. And eventually they're like, no. And they just do like that movement and just unlock our helmets. And I'm like, oh, we're good.
Bill Burr has a great bit when he played football as a little kid where they put him on the offensive line and he was playing guard and the play happened and he ended up grabbing. He was like 5 years old. He grabbed the running back by the legs and the running back wasn't going anywhere. And, you know, it was 5-year-old, so they just stood there forever. Yeah. And the coach walked up to him and looked at him. He was like, are you on offense or defense? And he looks at him and goes, offense. And he goes, let go of him.
Let go.
But no, dude, I had a couple injuries because we were outside. I had 6 brothers. But there was one that I can still feel to this day. And you see me doing this because I feel it. We were playing Frisbee in my grandparents' backyard. And they threw it and I missed it. And I ran after it. And it was at the base of a tree. I slipped. My hand hit the exposed root and just slid.
Oh.
And I went, ah! Turned over and like right here, just this massive gash on my hand. And they washed it, whatever. Put a Band-Aid on it, I think, because that was going to help.
Yeah.
I went to school the next day and I remember I was in 2nd grade and my teacher was like, hey, what is going on with your hand? And I was like, what? And he was like, go to the nurses. So they wrapped it up. But I feel it, dude. That thing.
I had an injury like that when I was on the monkey bars for too long. I felt like a weird sensation on my hands. And I look and like all the skin was like moved and stretched in a weird way. And it was just like, oh, that's weird. And I did this movement, and it just went back to normal. And I was like, oh, okay.
I'm sure it's fun. Sure.
Yeah, and then I went back on the monkey bars. Like a dumbass.
I was never a monkey bar guy.
I was in and out of them. I don't remember where, though. It was like Sportscom or something.
I was a swing set and slide guy. I was never a monkey bar guy.
I was a pretty big swing set guy, too. No, it was in my elementary school. That's where that was. Our playground.
Yeah, I guess my mom told me so many horror stories about guys getting their like arms broken, falling off monkey bars. That was like, you know what? I'm cool on the monkey bars.
And I think I've had much worse experiences on the swing set because I was one of the daring kids that would jump off at the highest point of the swing.
Yeah.
I think I landed flat on my chest one time.
I don't know why this reminded me. It reminds me of this because we were going to recess one time and I was talking with this guy about WWE, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know Randy Orton?
Yeah.
You know the snap power slam he does?
Mm-hmm.
Where that shit?
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about it and I was like, yeah, he's so cool when he does it. And I did that, right? I did a standing up version of it. But he was like, no, he does this. And he did it, but he did the whole thing. And he landed with his wrist like this. So he landed and then I heard him go, ah! And he turned over and he was stuck like this. And he was like, I can't move my wrist. And I was like, I didn't do it. Didn't do it.
Sounds like my roommate who broke both of his wrists playing soccer.
What? Dude, that sounds like it'd be in a bad comedy sketch. Oh yeah, I broke my wrist. How? I was playing soccer.
Yeah. I have to get the story from him again, but long story short, he wasn't that good at soccer.
He sounds like it. Sounds like he got a lot of handball.
Yeah.
Which is what they called me in college.
I knew that was happening.
So it's been an hour. And
it has.
This was a bit of a ramble. Didn't have a topic, but I enjoyed the chat. Needed the chat. And hopefully y'all enjoyed it as well. As always, follow the socials. Instagram, Red Light Homies. TikTok. TikTok finally loves us again. 200 views on the past 2 shorts as of recording. We'll see what happens the rest of the week.
Yeah, we were kind of a little shadow banned for some reason.
Yeah, we didn't even get 10 views on a lot of the TikToks.
Yeah,
the hell?
Weird.
The hell? For no reason. But TikTok,
for reference, we usually had around 200, starting out, but
yeah,
it just shot down. So,
but follow TikTok. Daily uploads there outside of Saturday and Sunday. YouTube show every Monday, short every day, every weekday, and then clips Wednesday and Friday. Hopefully Wednesday and Friday if I'm not a lazy piece of shit about it. Follow the Twitter. I promise I'll be active on it. Like I said, follow the Instagram. Follow the.
And if you want to listen and not watch, we also have Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Podcasts.
You know what's insane? I just paused right here, and I did such a good job that I tricked myself into thinking my camera went off. I'm such a good actor. Anyways, like and rate the show. 5 stars. Follow it wherever. And as always, if you have friends, you got family, you got whoever, and they're like, hey, we need to expand our podcast library. Do you have a podcast to recommend, Z? What do they do?
Tell them the good old boys, Jackie and Z at Red Light Homies, they always got your back.
That's it. Jackie and Z. We'll see y'all next Monday.
Peace out.